Welcome back to some more Domions 6 Enhanced. It seems like we have found another side of magic, and a very good one. The Academy of High Magics, which not only gives us 2 Earth and 1 Fire Jump per turn, but also enables us to hire these very good wizards, giving us access to astral and air magic, and they are also great cheap researchers. This is basically a beefed up version of the previous guys. However, they need 4 recruitment points, and these are stronger still in their paths of magic and research, but also much more expensive. And we've got a lab for free as well, so we can already start to employ these guys. We don't have quite enough for a lab yet. And let's start recruiting some more shaman. And let's also actually claim the throne. You can do, I don't know, maybe forge some magic item. Either for you or for the prophet, maybe for the prophet. Like some defensive thing. Like the bracelets. We don't have access to the bracelets. It's not a trinket, it's a like regular magic item, I suppose. We could give him boots of giant strength. I think that's the only option that I like out of the ones that we have available. Or we can give him like a black steel sword, or maybe a stinger that's a little bit more defensive. And one of these guys can forge him a better shield, probably the black steel. Yeah, I think we're going to go for that and make him more tanky. We've had 2 random events. Young raging rebels have started riots and uprising in the province. Everyone is on the edge, ready to kill and plunder. So we might want to raise the province defense to 10, which gives us 1 per month unrest reduction. If it goes up to 100, you cannot recruit units, and there are some special spells that you can harass your enemy's provinces with to increase the unrest. And also brigands have taken up residence in ruins in this province, so let's up the defense in here as well. We are moving Hasar, our hero chief, to this province to look for the additional magic site that we know that are there, but we might have to use our prophet to actually be able to get them. It looks like Mictlan have indeed taken the throne. And this one I believe they already had previously. Let's see our scouts. I believe we have scouted pretty much the whole map now. Let's move them about somewhere. You have these guys. You are supposed to be continuing the fort construction, and you are supposed to be continuing the fort construction in this province. And you are going to be building a lab and a temple, but for now you can search for magic sites. And we should have, yes, this guy to search for magic site. Let's just put him on auto search for now. Machaka has a province in here because it's like a special cloud province, it seems like, that's available from these 3 hilltops, these 4 hilltops actually. So that's a nice feature of a map so that you have to be aware of any possible like flanking attacks, but there's also a throne in here, possibly a second level that might be harder to take. Let's move them around a little bit, see what the enemy might be up to and how much terrain they've gotten. And that's going to be it for this turn. I think let's take a look at our research. We are almost up to construction 3, which will enable us to forge better magic artifacts. So no fighting happened. The independent provinces have been mostly taken. The borders are stabilizing. We found a smolder stone with 1 fire gem and forest of truffles with 1 nature and 1 earth gem. So it would definitely be nice to hold on to this province. And we've had a festival held in honor of Eddie, the king of berries. Everyone was celebrating and the faith has increased in the province. We can see our god's name or pretender gods in here and all of his titles. These titles are tied to his magic buffs. So technically, if you're, or practically, if you're playing a multiplayer game, you are able to glean what kinds of path might your enemies' pretenders have by the titles, which can be seen in here. So for example, Micton worships the pretender Loader, the unseen god, patron of all bards, master of routes, so it looks like maybe strong glamour magic. Machaca worships pretender Achille, master of this world, author and finisher of our faith, the persuasive one, master of fraud and theft. No idea what these titles mean. And lastly, Rus worships the pretender Ur, which is, by the way, a name of another nation. The everlasting father, august lord, prince of astral fires, so maybe astral magic or astral and fire magic, master of pestilence, the shadow of death, so probably strong death magic as well, because they got 2 titles in that one. You are here to build me a temple. We can start to again build some more of these guys. You were crafting a magic item, you can go back to researching. We have now claimed the throne of the Fool, and Mictlan has claimed the throne of Twilight, which does defense +1 and 2 glamour gems. So for you, we would like to give you these items, and I actually forgot that we have gotten this Javelin of Returning previously, which gives the Glamour Manipulator trait, which is not helpful to us because we do not use Glamour magic, but this is something that I mentioned in previous episode, I believe. So the Glamour Manipulator will be able to keep false wounds real on enemy forces, just as if they were Glamour mages. Armor piercing and false damage. False damage will disappear if there are no hostile Glamour mages left. Dying from false damage is permanent, however. Mindless beings are immune to false damage unless they are illusions. Range is equal to strength, precision -2, but does it count as a... it does. But does he need one? He has Dispel, so we might want to give it to someone else. I'm not sure who, which, well, like, if we get a... like this guy, for example, he would be good candidate for a ranged weapon, and because he's a commander who can't really do anything in battle, Or he could fight, but we don't want him to. So if we were to give him a ranged weapon, then he would be able to contribute at least a little bit to the fight. We can replenish these guys, and you can now become a guardian for our warrior smith. You've got the third eye, which is now +2. I think it was +1 at the start, and I believe you've had the unequaled obesity, which is also growing in power to +13 now. However, the encumbrance is probably also rising. Do we want to start attacking Machaka? I don't think so. We would prefer to go after the thrones that Mictlan has. This is more defended. They have a fort here already and a fortress actually, while we are only starting with building palisades. We might consider going after these guys. So let's move you in. And now they don't have the flying guy anymore on the Griffin because the Griffin was killed. So the guy stays, I think, and is still in battle, but he won't have his Griffin anymore. And that means that these guys, I think we can put in the front. Do we want to separate it? I don't think so. This should be okay. I'm not sure if the archers will be able to do anything useful with their bows. Maybe against one of the mages. I think one of them didn't have a very strong armor. I'm not sure if all of them have regeneration. I'm not entirely sure if this is enough. They do hit fairly hard, they have some more experience, so higher attack and defense values. They also have some protection against special elemental magics. It might be hard. Do we have any very useful spells? We should probably start with some unearth power. We don't yet have the more powerful spells. That's fatigue and potentially stun, but we are going against large enemies, and like fatigue, stun, or it costs fatigue, it causes stun. But I'm not sure, because usually effects are less, have less chance to work on the larger the unit is, and we are going against fairly large trolls. We might want to go with Strength of Giants so that we can punch through their regeneration better. And for that to be even more effective, I think I will go ahead and put them in a box formation. I'm using Ctrl 1 to copy this list of spell and 1 to paste it over. It can be a little more to the front here. I'm not sure if there's anything more we can do. Rust Mist, I'm not sure if it's going to be effective against magical armor, and it will probably just backfire against our troops. Yeah, I don't think we have anything available yet that would be especially helpful, except for the additional strength for our troops. So I suppose we're just gonna have to go with that. We could potentially bring some other mages into the fold, but I don't think they might have spells that are going to be useful for us. Like poison, but it's not very accurate probably, and we will just probably poison our own units, and I think our enemies might be poison resistant anyway. We could bring like one more to do additional strength of giant casting. Actually, can we spam skeletons? Could try animate dead and then animate skeleton of this guy. And we could also put some gems on him. Although lesser earth elementals, how good are they going to be? They won't be able to trample. So they will act as tanks basically for our troops. Let's try it. We will see some gem-based magic at least. And yeah, you will be... Let's go here and press Y so that we can see only the guys that are going to be moving into the province. So I want you, I think, at the front here. Where are you again? Did I do something? Not sneak. Control click to move, because if he were to sneak into the province, he actually wouldn't participate in the fight. So we're going to try something like that. Maybe let's try and move our scouts closer to our own borders. A single moon priest. They haven't taken this province yet. And again, Machaca has taken another hilltop, which is kinda good for us if they start going against each other. Yes, this seems like a level 2 throne with 2 huge ice drakes that are going to be spewing frost and probably a whole lot of barbarians. You can move to the cloud province, sure, why not? And you can also start going back. This is also up for grabs, but probably not for us. I haven't done especially well on the expansion. Grabbing the neutral provinces at game start. We are going to the next turn. Let's see, we finished construction 3, so we now have access to lesser magic items, which I will show off in a bit. And we did find the 2 additional like holy sites. You can be put on site searching as well. So we have a marble temple, province income plus 75, decreases unrest by 5, and enables recruiting this high priest, which might actually be good against Mictlan, because they have the devils, the demons, that these guys would be able to banish, and we can also produce small monkeys because of the triple oasis, supply points, 1 water gem, and enables recruitment of these little monkey boys with fists, sticks, and stones. They are undisciplined, so they don't get any order. They basically go out and fight however they wish. They are smaller than human size too, and they also have less HP, but they have like an okay defense stat, very low morale, so and very low strength, so their siege strength is also not very high, but they are super cheap. So when you are sieging, you need enough people to break down enemies' walls. So when you just need a whole lot of bodies, then you might be you might want to recruit these guys en masse to help you to do that. And we will take a look at this fight next against the band of heroes. Let's take a look. And it seems like the guy who had the griffin was actually taken out completely. And this, well, he actually does have some good armor. This one, not so much. He has natural protection. So we shall see how it goes. We also have the bears, who also will be blessed and quickened. So they might be able to contribute some good damage. It seems like the raised dead only raised one soulless warrior, which is quite underwhelming, but I believe that spell is tied to the number of corpses in the provinces. So if there was a huge battle in like the previous turn, we might raise a lot of these soulless, but because some time has passed and there weren't that many units killed in battle with these guys, we only get the one guy. It seems like they are very nicely chewing through this troll. 24 points. Target got a permanent lip of 24 points of damage. They did get the strength buff. And back here our bears dispatch the illusory wolves. And now our warriors, and it looks like their mage was already dispatched. It was not this guy, this one. These are the bears, the sacred ethereal bears, with a bite for 9 points, 000, and another bite for 6 points. And I believe it was just a human, so he wasn't very high on hit points. Got dispatched by our great magical bears. Does this guy have an all effect? Or is it the clamor? Why are they flashing white? Bewilder negated attack on Troll Mage, so it looks like he cast some kind of spell on himself, or it might be the Bewitching Lights, or Shout of Bewilderment. That's going to be the one. It's not showing up as a trait, but it apparently can just negate attack if someone, I don't know, fails a roll or something. Does it say Bewilder negates? Yes, you have to do a magic resistance roll apparently to be able to overcome this effect. And the Troll Mage was killed, and the last of the heroes is running away. Now the big question, did we get any items out of it? We did get the Greenstone Armor and the Precious. So the Precious gains a strength and attack skill, which I might want to give to our Prophet. And the Greenstone Armor is fairly heavy, I believe. A lot of encumbrance. So we could like swap out this armor for you and the Greenstone Armor for our Prophet. And I think we shall swap over to the Earth 3 Mage. I wonder, do I want to move these guys to our capital so that they are better defended? Let's just up the province defense in here and in here as well. Let's see, what can we actually, we need a little bit of money to set up the province defense back here. You guys can move back to the capital to be researchers. We can take a look at the lesser magic items that we now can craft. Scepter of Authority is good for your melee commanders, like our or chiefs who don't have any kind of range weapon or spells to be able to contribute in battle. If you give them the Scepters of Authority, they can lead more troops, and they can also cast the Burn spell, which is not like super effective. It has a decent range, and it can make one person go up in flames, but it's very precise and ignores armor. And if the target is actually set ablaze, which is less likely if it like rains, snows, or maybe if it's cold, then they will start taking damage every turn and they might burn alive. Mace of Eruption is another good item of notice since it has an area of effect, one additional armor piercing effect with fire and magic damage, which means that if there are multiple, this is one square, so let's say there are 3 warriors in a square, you bonk one of them in the head with the mace with this damage, and then him and the other guys in the same square will also take this damage, which is not super high, and even though it's armor piercing, the highly armored enemies or ones with fire resistance will be able to overcome this additional damage, but against like groups of large groups of weaker enemies, it's an effective tool. Some basically a little bit higher damage with armor piercing than the regular swords items. This is for additional defense, and also like you can hold it in your second hand with an additional weapon, so you have 2 attacks and a bunch of additional defense. Star of Heroes to break tough armor, and Dwarven Hammer for additional forge bonus, which is the cost reduction, and we will want to make 1 or 2 of these. Let's order up one of them already. We have access to some crossbows and other orange weapons. These are in strength required 20. We won't be using that. Dragon Helmet, good for morale and a little bit fire resistance, and a good helmet with good armor. Same for fire plate. It's a little bit worse than this one when it comes to protection, but it has the additional morale and fire resistant effects. Black Steel Full Plate, which is the beefed up version of the Black Steel Plate, but it's much more cumbersome and gives a higher defense penalty and higher map move penalty. Brimstone Boots are also good for additional strength and fire resistance. Boots of Behemoth for your large units if you're playing one of the nations that has access to giant commanders. You might want to give them these boots so they can stomp over enemy units and crush them for some additional chip damage. Fires in a jar might become useful in the future. We also have the unique Stone of Fehu available to us, which gives access to the luck spell, Area of Effect 2. That actually, and it gives the luck and fortune teller. That's actually pretty good, and you might want to. It's fairly expensive with 10, but it might be nice to have one even for the fortune teller. However, probably better even for the luck spell. You would give it to some commander and have him buff our troops. So I think we will start moving north and see if we can go. That would be 1 to 3, 1 to 3, either way. We only have 3 guys, additional guys to offer. So it doesn't really matter, we can move them into here this turn, and then maybe go for this throne to take it away from them, which this is the... They now have 2 thrones, I believe, but they only create one, and we do not know which one is it. Is it this one or this one? They have some scarecrows, howler monkeys, and killer mantis. So it seems like they are doing some nature conjurations. We can keep you here. You can move here. You can scout this mountaintop, I suppose. And these are the throne defenders. I don't want to move through the scout through their castle, as there are enemies here that might detect him. You already did your site searching, but you can do some more in here. I believe that provinces with thrones have additional chance to get these special sites of power, so we might as well send you over here first. That's going to be it for this turn. Let's see. We site search and found Grove of Fertility, which is a nature 1, a special site. Famine has struck the land, population -400, death 1 in the Throne province. You can search for fire magic sites, and palisades have been built, and the next level is 600, which we do not have. I think we want to invest in some more of these guys. For now, we can give the rune to you. We cannot. Can only be used by certain type of unit. Is it only the shamans? I imagine the antlered shaman as well, but we don't have one here, so you can have it. And I guess we can maybe have one more of these forged hammers. Normally it would cost 8, but I think for us it should be 6, so down to 38. No, 37, so these do not stack, the forge bonuses. Well, that's not cool, but we still might want to use them on the shamans for the nature magic, or our pretender to forge some water items, like the squirrel blade, which gives a bunch of additional hit points and has an additional bleeding special effect. But for now, we won't be doing any of that. You can go back to researching. You might as well move some troops around. You can go back to researching. We are doing construction 4 next, and then invocation 4. We might want to do more alteration for iron skin later. You also have a few more of these guys, so we can also go and supply more troops for the upcoming attack. A fairly large 160 unit army of rats in here. Not through the castle, go through the throne province. You can also research. You are moving here, and you are still on auto search. You can stay here so that we know if they get any reinforcement to the province. And you can check out, I guess, the other throne, and these are both our scouts. There's a warning if you don't issue orders to some of your commanders. We have found another magic site, a Sun Ridge, so that will be Fire 2. So that's pretty good. We might want to send out this guy to look for air sites. We can give you one of these guys as a guard and set you just on retreat just in case. You will be site searching, you can go back to researching, you want to site search in here. And what else? There was a battle in Zhou province. It seems like Rus has moved their big army already in here, like in one turn. Maybe they were in a different province. And they have taken over this throne. What? Sorry. The camera is very sensitive. They have a bunch of these bear warriors with twin axes. A few of these hunters with spears and short bows. They're sacred skin shifters, some berserkers, and some warriors with just fairly regular troops, almost same as your regular indie troop, except they have cold resistance and like axes instead of spears. And they have Casper the Zephyr, that's like a summonable scout, I believe, scout unit. Yes, it has stealth 60. I'm not sure if Ethereal helps with stealth as well. And how about the commanders? They only have the one. His leadership 50, okay. They only have one commander with 0 protection and 3 hit points. It is Ethereal. So we shall see how will it go. And in meanwhile, Mictlan protecting their... Well, we already saw that they won on the strategic map. The Mictlan has a bunch of their moon warriors with nasty obsidian two-handed clubs and a fairly heavy armor, especially for an early age. The sun warriors with the sun all effect, a bunch of archers and militia from province defense. They have more commanders, tribal king, high priest, 3 blood magic, 2 fire and 3 holy, and an additional mutant priest in here, and a bunch of these very weak warriors. So let's see how the battle goes. They are casting Divine Blessing, the Mictlan priest, so let's see what kind of a blessing effect do they have. And they have quite a lot. Poison resistance 5, fire resistance 5, defense skill 1, disease resistance 80, enchanted blood, which regenerates 1 hit points per 2 turns and gives the disease resistance as well. A righteous wrath, which means that if any other sacred unit, I think up to 5 tiles from them dies, then they get a bunch of like additional strength and attack skill, I think. Mountain survival and inspiration +1 and leadership +50, so that's for their commanders. So if we take a look at this guy, he's now got leadership 145, and I don't see the inspiration. Here it is, inspiration +1, which means that the units that they lead will gain an additional morale point, although I'm not sure which commander is their leader. And who's that? That's the tribal king, who is also a sacred commander. We see that the infantry is closing in, the archers are doing a little bit of chip damage against the Rus infantry. We saw what kind of spell was that? That's Channel Divine Fire, which is akin to a fireball, it seems. It hits one square, I'm guessing, and doing fire damage, and then the surrounding square might also get some chip fire damage and also heat effects, which increase the fatigue. They also have a this is a Werber, so indeed it looks like they're skin shifters. If this form takes enough damage to die, then they turn into this bear form, which is also sacred, but they didn't do the blessing. They only have the Zephyr commander, who is not a priest. Two attacks, a claw and a bite with fairly good damage. They have actually a decent protection thanks to the Berserker effect, but a very low defense. This bear also has lost an eye. So they were hit hard and be able to endure a few hits thanks to their high hit points. And their axes are chewing through the lightly armored Mictlan infantry. These guys are their elite troops who are holding up a little bit better, but they are outnumbered and get overwhelmed quickly. Let's take a quick look at the Divine Fire. If we can see this guy from the back, is channeling the spell, but he is not getting almost any hits, only one, but the magic resistance was high enough to completely resist the effect, so it seems like the spell is fairly imprecise, it looks like, and the distance is quite large. And now they are chewing through their archers and their slingers. So they are taking some chip damage. Now that one landed pretty well because the distance was much reduced, and it seems like it did quite a lot of damage, and it didn't do any friendly fire, which is usually an issue with these kinds of spells. In higher levels, like first you start with like a firebolt that, if it's lucky enough, it's basically like a fire arrow that can hit one target for a little bit of damage. However, these spells usually have a little bit higher range than others. Then if you go to you proceed with your research, go to the higher levels, you might unlock like magma bolts that we have access to with fire and earth 1 magic that shoots out 3 bolts, I believe, that are a bit more potent. You might then unlock fireballs, which do area damage. Then you go to like fire clouds, which have even bigger area of effect, and finally summoning like firestorms, meteors that can squish even giants and deal huge damage. But those are very high level effects that require a lot of skill and fire magic. We have also finished Palisade in here, and we would like to go up to Fortress because Palisade still only gives us 1 commander recruitment point, so that means one of these guys every second turn, and we would like to have more of them as quickly as possible to up our research game, basically. You can move over. This throne looks like level 1. And we should be able to see. So they still have the Throne of Twilight. So this must be it. And I think to top off this episode, we shall gain these additional few units. And we shall order our people to attack the throne. I think we can hold the same formation from earlier. although instead of summoning and strength, you can now do temper armors. And let's see, the scouts can stay. I suppose you can accompany them just in case, stay behind the archers, so that we have like a spare commander in case any of our other commanders might perish. So we shall end the episode here, and next episode we shall see how does the attack on this province goes. A fortification is under construction. I hope we will be able to attack this province before it's finished. However, the local defense of this province appears to be very strong and well organized, so we shall see a lot of indie troops province defense. However, not much of the Mictlan troops. Only a single high priest of the sun seems like is in there. So hopefully we shouldn't have any problems taken over, but it will start a war against Mictlan. Thankfully, it seems like Rus is now also at war with them, since they have taken aggressively one of their provinces.